This is story time, guys. Story time Wednesdays from now on. You gotta share the information, right? So you can help others. That's what God said, right? Help others, help thy neighbor. I think that's how I go. All right. So we're gonna do story time. Let's start from the beginning. You probably heard it, but I'm gonna reiterate how I became this great leader. Look, sometimes you go through things, and the things that you go through, not sometimes, all the time, the things that you go through, you grow through. The tougher the battle, the bigger the reward. It's just how it goes. A lot of people can't comprehend that. They say God people suffer the most. No, really what happens is he gives his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers, so that way they can walk in the image of Christ and they can walk through fire and come out unscathed, and they're strong enough to be able to handle the toughest situations, and you can be the matriarch or the patriarch of the family. That's the ideal way that God wants it to be. Does it always work out like that? No. Many are called, few are chosen, because most people can't handle it. I was able to come out unscathed through the grace of God. I give God all the glory. But it started with some trying. So God, why does he keep saying trying? Is it dying or trying times? Help me out. I don't know. Somebody help me out down below. Tell me how it go. Booger. So it was some tough times. And I started out with abuse from my mom. I know, of course, I didn't wake up. I wasn't born 12 years old. That's not where it all started up. But the troubling times came in when I was 12. Ironically, I had a weird dream I was getting chased. And when I looked back, it was being chased by my own shadow, I think. I couldn't see the person, but I was getting chased. And the next day, I think the next day is when the abuse happened and I got taken away from my mother. Yeah, it was strange. It was very strange. That's why I pay attention to dreams. Dreams tell stories because when you sleep, you travel. So whatever. But that's not what I'm here for. Story time. My mom was very angry at the time. She was going through a lot of stuff. I don't have the woe is me personality. I actually love my mom. We're cool now. I would learn to forgive. You're going to hear that in the end of the story. So throughout the time when I was young, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, years, when I was years young, my dad had the ultimate situation going on. He had 2 baby mothers in the same house in Brooklyn, New York. Me and my mom lived downstairs, and my sister and her mom lived upstairs. It's a 2-family duplex. I think that's what it was. Anyway, how he was able to pull that off, I don't know, but he made it work. And my mom was struggling hard to get out of there. She didn't want to be there anymore because every day they'll argue and fight and bicker and all of that because obviously this is the woman he left you for, cheated with. I don't know the real story behind how that really played out. I gotta ask him that too. Pop, if you're watching this, I'm coming to ask you that because I ask everything now that I'm older. But anyway, that's how the anger started on my mom, and she took a lot of abuse out on me. Some of it wasn't abuse, it was just regular kids getting their ass whooped kind of thing. But it got a little egregious after a while. We moved out from that house with the other baby mother, and we moved somewhere else in Brooklyn, New York. She didn't want anybody to know where we lived because she wanted to get away from everybody, the embarrassment, the this, the that, the that, the that. And I still had a sister with my dad's ex-girlfriend. I had a sister. I still have a sister, but I had a little sister that I wanted to talk to. So I wound up snitching on my own self, but did exactly what my mother told me not to do. And they asked me where I stay at, and I told them, I'm 12 years old. I can't really hold water like that. So I told, she got mad, came in, hung me from a belt, whooped me out, and went to school with blood all over me. I don't revisit it and feel pain anymore. And I actually say it like so normal because I'm over it and I understand why it happened because hurt people hurt people. So the abuse was very severe. She came in the room, I was sleeping. You get whooped with the belt buckle, not the belt, the buckle of the belt. And I had like warps and bleeding on my body, then took the belt and hung it from my neck. And I was screaming so loud that my grandmother, God bless her soul, she died last year. She heard it from the other side because she had an apartment in the same building. So she heard it from the other side of the hallway, basically screaming for my life. So she came and ran in and stopped her and got her off of me. And she's like, what did he do? And she's like, I told you I didn't want nobody to know where you live. But it wasn't about that. A lot of the abuse came from, her being mad at my dad and I'm looking like him or I remind him of him. And, and it's hard for women to raise boys as it is. Anyway, let's go further. Let's tell a story. So I went to school. I was going to Jose Junior High School. When I went to school, I was writing on the desk doing my classwork, and the blood was coming from. She told me after the whooping, she said, "Get on the train now, go to school." I'm like, just got damn near decapitated me, and you want me to get on the train and go to school? But anyway, I did what she told me to do. Going to class, writing. The blood is going all over the desk. The blood is spilling through the shirt from the warps that was on my body from getting hit with the belt buckle. So anyway, long story short, teacher came in. She was like, "What happened to you? Who did this?" I said, "I can't tell you because I figured if I tell them, they're going to do exactly what they did, is take me away from my mom." So I'm like, "No, I ain't telling you. I ain't telling on my mother. Hell no, that ain't it." And that's not what we do. We take the mass whoopers and keep it moving like we usually do, you know? So they was like, "Look, you can't go home." I'm like, "What you mean?" It was like, "Yo, you got to go to the principal office and explain who did this to you." I didn't want to explain it to the principal because I knew that she would possibly get in trouble because this was bad. Like, this was worse than all the other whoopings that happened. This was bad, like really bad. So, long story short, long story long because it ain't short, but I'm going to try to make it short as possible because it's only supposed to be a story time Wednesday. So when I went to the principal office, they asked me who did this, and I said, "I can't tell you." They said, "Who do you live with?" I said, "Just me and my mom." You know, typical games that people play to catch you up. Like, the cops were standing there. So I seen the cops in the office, and the cop was like, "Look, man, we can't let you go home like this. Do you have any siblings, any brothers?" I said, "No, I live with just my mom. My sister lives with her mom, blah, blah, blah." He was like, "Well, we can't let you go home like this till you tell us what's going on because somebody abused you, and this is a no-go. Like, you can't do it." So he's like, "So who do you stay with again?" I said, "My mom's." Like, "So did she do this? Be honest with me." I'm like, damn, they keep interrogating me. I'm 12 years old. I got the principal right here. I got the police right here. Everybody keep bothering me, asking me who did it. Fuck it. Yes, she did it. In my mind, I'm like, I hope this is get y'all off my back, not arrest her or anything like that. That's what I was thinking, right? So I need to get a phone stand. Sorry. So anyway, long story short, they took me to the hospital, and when I got to the hospital, they were taking pictures of my body, like everywhere the warps was at and the bleeding was at and all of that. And all of a sudden, when I was in the hospital, I heard them on the mic, and they was like, "Yeah, put him in the room, or we got her under arrest," and something like that. And the guy said to him, "Put him in the room over there." So I didn't know what it meant, what he was trying to say, "Put me in the room over there." I'm like, why are he telling them to put me in the room over there? So when I went in the room, I looked through the glass, turned around and looked, and I saw my mother in handcuffs walking by. I'm like, I knew this was going to happen. So anyway, long story short, I ate it. I'm like, I was hurt. I didn't know what was going to happen. Again, I'm 12. I don't know what's the next move that's going to happen now. So they took me to this group home thing. Hold on a second, y'all. 1 second. A message about 3. I could have came straight there. What time you need me? All right, I'll answer him back later. Let me finish this video. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. So, anyway, they took me to this group home, and I was asking them, like, "What is this?" It's like, "Well, we gotta find you a home. You gotta stay here for now, or whatever the case may be." So I'm like, damn, I gotta stay in this big. It was like a big open space. It was like a big open space with mad beds, and it was boys everywhere. So I was really tired because now it's like late at night, about to be early in the mornings, wee hours at night. I've been went from hospitals to there, signing papers and this, and all kind of crazy stuff. So I wake up about like 5 in the morning, go use the bathroom. I'm still devastated. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I went to use the bathroom, and it was like, I want to say like 4 or 5 dudes circled me, like they surrounded me. And at the time, like, I wasn't no young bad kid or nothing. Like, I grew up, in a fairly decent environment. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother did well. My people's just hardworking peoples, and they own properties, some of them, and all kind of stuff. So I didn't really grow up like in the projects at the time, or know nothing about like jumping people, and I knew stuff, but it wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? So they surrounded me. I had no clue what it meant. He was like, "Yo, what size you wear?" I'm like, "What size I wear?" And I was like, I looked down, and my father just had bought me a pair of cinnamon Timbs back then, like different colored Timbs. I wanted a pair of Timberlands. And I think I was like an 8 maybe or something. And I told him the size, and I looked around, and I was washing my face in the bathroom. I'm like, oh shoot, they're about to jump me. And I'm just now realizing, like, I caught on really late what was about to take place. So by the grace of God, I heard Matthew Samuel, pack it up. So I was like, huh? They was like, yeah, we found the home for you. I'm like, a home? So I didn't know what this home situation meant. Like, I was just really extremely tired. So I remember going to sleep in the back of this car. And I remember when I opened my eyes, I saw like chains everywhere. Like, it was buildings with chains, just chains and chains, like, as gates. Instead of gates, it was chains. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. So, we got there, went in the elevator. It was a pissy elevator. I'm like, okay, I never seen this before. Went upstairs, went to 11th floor. You could smell like drugs and, like somebody was smoking something other than marijuana. Anyway, so when I got up there, took me straight to the foster parent. When I got to the foster parent, this lady had a cat, a dog, a fish tank. The house smelled like cigarettes. I'm like, it's weird. Like kitty litter. It was just the weirdest thing I ever seen. Four beds. She had a bunk bed and 2 twin beds in the same room. And it was like a room for the girls up front. So it was like a 3-bedroom project apartment, make a long story short. And I never been to the project at the time. I didn't know nothing about that. Like I never know the setups and the dynamics because like I said, my grandmother, the house that me and my mom lived in, it was actually, to go back to that was my grandmother's house. She moved, God bless her soul, I miss her so much, but she moved to Queens to go in the suburbs and left the house in Bushwick for her grandkids. So that's how me and my sister and my other sister, my sister and my mom and everybody wound up in the same house. 2 different apartments, even though it was in one house. So everybody had their own way to, to get in and all kind of stuff. So I wasn't used to this. I get in there, house smells bad. She got a lock on the door. She had a lock on the freezer. Like it was literally a lock on the freezer and a lock on her room door, a lock on the refrigerator. I'm like, what is this place? Like, this is weird. Like, okay. So I'm asking them, like, how does this go? Like, I met the other foster kids. I'm like, how does this go? Like, so I stay here until my mom come and gets me. Like, they're not really explaining anything to me. They just like, okay, this is your home. So next thing you know, she was like, hey, did you eat? I'm like, no, I didn't eat. I remember, damn, I feel like I can smell it still. Like how, it's like you rethink things, you can kind of remember the smell and the air and how everything was. Like it's coming back strong right now. Like, so when you watch those movies and you see like foster kids getting treated bad, they like giving them like raw meat and crazy stuff. Too much sun. Sorry, let me close this. So like you see stuff like that, you don't really want to believe it, but it's true. So she signs me up for school. No, that night he made me something to eat. And when I look at the food, it's corned beef and rice. I was like, all right, cool. I could get with this. It's just corned beef and rice, no big deal. The next day, I met the 2 other foster brothers in there and stuff. It was like 2 or 3 of us in one room at one time, sharing one bathroom, 3-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom. So I go to school, first day of school, I get jumped by 13 dudes. Anybody that knows me and my homeboys that watch these videos, if they ever do, they know the story. And we became best friends after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was weird how that happened, but they realized I wasn't soft neither just because I ain't come from the project. I wasn't afraid of nothing because I grew up some parts of my life in Jamaica, but we'll talk about that another time. So I seen a lot of danger. So anyway, I get jumped by 13 dudes, come back. I got a fractured cheekbone right here. God bless his dad, my homeboy Splurge. We became friends as we got older. On the school, and one of the girls liked me and they got mad, and I was talking to them. I'm like, bro, I ain't scared of nobody. We can get down, it don't matter to me. And anyway, long story, I got jumped by 13 dudes. Come home to eat dinner with a swollen eye, corned beef and rice again. Here's the interesting part about this, and I tell people this, and I always got to insert this no matter what. The lady had a cat. She would put the food on the counter on the washing machine in the kitchen. The cat would get to the food before we get to the food. So when I walked in from school to get my I gotta stop at gas station. I come in from school to get my dinner, or what they call it, supper, around that time, right? Because it's still early. The cat was up there eating the corned beef already. So now I'm like, the cat was eating it. I don't want this. She was like, well, you better eat it. That's all I got. and walked off on me. I'm like, so you're not gonna feed me nothing else? Like, you ain't give me no money for no food, nothing? Like, no, you gotta take it. You gotta take what's there. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So I had to scrape the rest wherever the cat was at. Like, I'll scrape off where the cat was at, where I saw him eating at, and then mix it around in the rice and eat it. Because I didn't have no money. I'm 12 years old. I didn't have a job, and I'm stuck in the foster care system. And this is ideally my new foster parent. Terrible woman, by the way. So that was one bad situation. Now I'm in the projects. I finally realized like I live in the projects now. Like, shout out to my hood. I don't forget where I come from, because at the end of the day, it made me stronger, man. It was a lot of lessons that came out of that. I'm in the projects. I'm trying to figure my way around things. I'm hearing gunshots, people getting shot in front of me. It's all kind of crazy. People pissing in the hallway. You got the addicts. Like, it's out of control. So I'm in a whole new environment, and I got to learn to adapt and survive this environment. And that wasn't easy for a 12, 13-year-old kid. I was young. So I want to stick to the foster care situation, and then I'm going to close out this story time. Why do I bring this up to people when I try to tell people this? It's very unfortunate that those foster care programs, they don't really check up on the homes to see what's really going on. And a lot of times there's kids that be in a system that gets abused, neglected. These parents, these so-called foster parents, they collect the checks to take care of the kids. And you probably get a little extra for yourself to do a little something for yourself. This woman did not. She basically wouldn't even give us money to go eat. She wouldn't give us money to go shopping. You know, Easter in New York, everybody want to get flown Easter. She thinks she gave us about $25, $50. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? She kept all the money and she gambled it. She gambled in horse betting. That was her pet peeve. She drank beer and smoked cigarettes. In the house, it just wasn't it, bro. Like, you got a refrigerator locked up. It got a lock on it. You got a lock on your room door. We can't use the telephone. Mind you, I'm 12. I don't even got a phone. So I got to wait till when she come in the house to use the phone, because she got the phone locked up. It was devastating, man. And, you know, but unfortunately by 13, you know, I took to the streets to go hustle and, you know what I mean, to go do my thing at a young age, man, to survive. And, you know, there's a lot more to the story that went down in there. I mean, I ain't gonna say grown because it was a foster kid situation, but I watched 19, 18, 17-year-old boys cry because she wouldn't give them nothing. She wouldn't show them no love. They was hurt. A lot of them dudes was hurt, man. And it's hard enough as it is. You got taken away from your parents, and you go into this home where you're supposed to get love, and you're supposed to be protected and provided for, and you get taken advantage of. And them people never showed up. And when they did show up to check on us, they announced it. So she already prepared for it. So I started to realize, like, a lot of the foster parents do that. Like, they know when they coming. You know, just like when somebody called ACS, I never understood how a lot of these programs, I'll be at your house on Tuesday at 3:00. Of course, you're going to put food in the fridge, remove the lock. She's going to clean up the house. You're going to make it look good and all that so she can keep her little checks coming in. But behind the scenes, they even telling the kid, right, man, don't I take care? Don't I do this? Yeah, make sure you tell them that when they come. Come on, man. Like, it's insane to me, man. I'm lost for words. Excuse me. It was a tough time for me at that time when I went through that. And I remember going to juvie. I got arrested when I was young, around 17, 18, for a firearm, for trying to pistol whip somebody. And I went through a lot of those things because I was always a quiet, cool dude. So a lot of times when you're quiet and you chill and you're not loud and rowdy, people mistake you for being soft. You know what I'm saying? So from time to time, I had to really, like, prove myself. You know what I mean? And I don't have any regrets from it. I just feel like now, why am I speaking about it? It's because I see it even now, people that go get foster kids and they do them dirty. They do them worse. They treat them worse than their parents probably treat. Some of them, because I know some of the parents be addicts, and, you know, they probably got to get rehabilitated. Some of them probably was, you know, very abusive or whatever the case may be. But they really need to look into this foster care situation, man, because I'm not gonna lie, man. At 13 years old, the things that I experienced it was too much. And they paid that woman handsomely to take care of us. She didn't do that. I think when I looked at the stats, I think I could look it up again, where most of the kids that go through foster care system, they wind up going to the prison system, because they don't really have nobody taking care of them. They don't get the best education. They don't get no love. They don't get no affection. So they run to the streets for love and for friendship and brotherly love and all, and they get themselves caught up. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad, man. It's really sad. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get my cameraman to post it up here to show you the stats on how many kids come out the foster care system and wind up going to prison, straight from foster care to prison. You know what I mean? So I give God the glory. I said all this to say, like, I give God the glory that I came out the way that I came out. You know what I mean? My grandmother was praying over me. Oh, to make matters worse, I found out my grandmother that passed away was giving the foster care lady, the foster care mother, money for me every week so that I didn't need for nothing, and she was keeping that too. I found that out later on in life, and I'm like, why y'all ain't tell me that? Because I would have asked her for it. So I went out in the street, did all of this to survive, all this running around hustling, and she was taking, man, let me tell you something. When it comes to this money, man, people are devious, man. And the sad part about it, y'all, like, to be honest, money, it comes from trees. You make money from trees, right? They need the trees to make money because it's paper. It's a byproduct. Do you understand that God owns the land, right? It's Mother Gaia. This is the land. That's why God said, lean on to me. He'll take care of all your needs. Because if you worship God and he owns the land, he runs the world, then the money will be bestowed upon you. The problem is that we want what we want when we want it, and you don't want to have patience for it. You always want instant gratification. And sometimes God don't give you more than you can handle. That's why I tell a lot of my friends, like, yo, you stressing about the bag, but are you eating? Yeah. You got a roof over your head? Yeah. You driving a car? Yeah. Okay. So you're blessed. I don't want to hear none of that. If you can get those bare minimums and learn your lessons, God could bless you with more. Because what happened to me was I finally realized something. When I started to learn how to manage, to be a good steward, that's why God said you have to have good stewardship. Good, you have to know how to manage your money, be fruitful. You have to multiply. When I started learning how to manage hundreds, I started making thousands. When I managed my thousands, I started making, let's just say, went up to 5 figures. When I figured out how to master the 5 figures, I went to the 6 figures. I'm in the 6 figures. I ain't get to the 7 yet. It's coming. But I have to learn how to manage and be a good steward with the 6 figures first. But these are the steps. That's why he said steps of a good man is ordered by God. Because he can't give you $1 million. Bro, you know how many dudes be like, yo, I'm going to get $1 million now, I'm going to run it. Bro, you're going to kill yourself, bro. You wouldn't even know what to do with $1 million now. You might get robbed because you're going to go and tell the whole world. How many people won the lottery and when they told something happened or they went crazy and this went wrong. They turned into addicts and all of that because they couldn't handle it. That wasn't from God. So that's why I started to understand, like, I got more patience when it comes to this money thing. I got more understanding and wisdom, how to help other people, how to pay it forward, donate to the less fortunate, how to manage my money. Don't overspend. Don't do things that's outside of your reach. Don't put your hat where you can't reach it. Don't do what you see other people do, because not everybody's life is the same. His situation is not your situation. So I had to learn that. You know what I mean? So that's why out of most of the kids that probably was in the foster care system that didn't make it out, I feel sorry for them and I pray for those kids, man. I'm gonna try to figure out what I could do to maybe help when it comes to that. I don't know. Like, cause I really think like they need to do something about that, because these are children. It starts with everything starts with the children. We all know that, right? I stopped to get some gas. Everything starts with the children. So if you doing this to the children and the children are the next generation, so that means you muddying the waters before they even get a chance to sprout. Like, you're destroying the seed before it even sprouts up as to be a good seed. That was weird. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to say, like, I'm sorry for a lot of those kids, man. Like, and I know somebody right now, my ex, like, she got foster kids. Like, come on, bro. Like, you look at they kids, people that got foster kids, they kids is dipped out fresh. But the foster kids look dirty. That's messed up. You really are doing a disjustice to these kids. And there's some people, and I don't think all foster parents are like that. I think there's some that's good. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna drag it, man. But it's sad, man. It's sad. And when something happens to you, you tend to have a lot of empathy for that, because the three things that God, help me if I'm wrong, somebody, I believe the three things that God hold dear to his heart is the widows, orphanage, and the children, I believe, right? In that order or whatever order. If I made a mistake, I apologize. But you see where I'm going with this. God holds children dear to his heart. And because they're the next generation, it's obvious. Without them, people are the commerce. So if you're sowing good seeds and you watering that seed, it's like a child. You have the seed, you have the child, you pour good knowledge and wisdom into them, and you sprout them up, you grow them up, you let them go out in the world and be fruitful to the world, and so on and so on and so on. That's how the world evolves. But why are you going to take somebody's kid to get a check and then treat them bad? They already came from a bad situation. You're doing them bad again, even worse than what they came from, or similar. Now they go out in the world and they have no hope, so they become criminals. And then now the government's make money off of them because they're criminals and they're filling up the prison system. Now you're okay because you made your little couple $100 a month. Come on, bro. That's not how that system was designed to be, man. I'm gonna do more research on it before I go any deeper. But yeah, that's my story time. And again, I don't take the glory at all. I give God all the glory, man, because my grandmother prayers helped me make it through that. Me praying, my loved ones looking after me, and you know what I'm saying. And then forgiveness was the key. And I should have finished with that. Like, I forgave my mom because I found out that my mom was abused, and some things, I don't know if she would want that on here, but things that happened to my mom and hurt people. And I never forget the day that I forgave my mom. I felt like a heavy weight was lifted off of my shoulder. I swear to God. The day that I forgave my mother, I felt like I was set free, because I felt like the devil had a hold on me because I didn't have the forgiveness that I was supposed to have for her. Because without forgiveness, you can't grow. You can't grow without, because your heart is too heavy. God cannot, that's why I say, do not harden your heart. Harden not your heart. And if you look at it, there's a symbol, right, for judgment. You got your heart on a scale on one side. Remember how, like, the Libra scales, you look at the scale, this is the judgment. Your heart is here and the feather's over here. If you ever look at that symbol, what that symbol means is your heart is supposed to be as light as a feather. That's how the blessings come in. That's how God bless you. Nobody don't want to tell you that forgiveness is the key. Without forgiveness, you shackle down to your own curse. You cursing yourself pretty much. The devil uses that against you. He holds you captive. Now he has dominion and rights over you because your heart is hardened. Once I learned that, me and my moms got tight, and I had empathy to understand that this was a woman that didn't know how to raise a man, number one. Number two, she was hurt. Hurt people. I could call that lady right now. We could laugh and talk. She came out here to visit me, came to my house and all that. And I never forget, I told her I forgive her for everything. When I remember when I got, how much more minutes? I'm going to do 30 minutes. I got 2 more minutes. My mom came and got me locked up. I was on a run from police. And that day, this is some fire right here. Watch this. And I'm going to close. I promise I always say I'm in conclusion, but I don't stop, because there's so much on my mind and my heart. That's why I got to let it out and do these videos so they can help people. My mother came to find me because I ran away from the foster home. I was on the streets. I'm hustling. I'm moving. I'm shaking. I'm baking. I'm doing my thing. Iceberged out back in the days. Jordans. I got all of them. I'm making $1,000 a day. I'm running it up. I run into this dude I had beef with. He gave me some work. Read between the lines. The work was wet, so it shrunk. And when the work shrunk, it lost the value. So given the fact that it lost the value, I can't pay you what you asked me to get rid of you for, because everybody knew I didn't party like my friends party. I would stay in that spot and hustle, because I got that mindset, like, I'm going all the way in. Whatever I do, I got to go all the way in. So I couldn't pay him what he wanted. And I'm like, bro, I'm not paying you that. I can give you back what it's worth, because that'll be me cutting into my finance. Like, I'm taking a loss. He was an older dude. At the time, I was 17, 18. I think that's like 17, 18 years old. So he was making threats like, oh, I'm going to do this to you, da-da-da. And his name started with an F. If you ever see the video, he know who he is, right? And older at the time, I think he was in his late 20s, 30s. I was 17 years old, but I was on the grind. I was hustling. And he said, I'm going to do this to you. I'm like, bro, anytime you make a threat to me, whatever business we had is over with. So he was like, bro, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You run around here getting money, buying this, buying that. You in S&D shopping. Da-da. I'm like, yeah, all right. So I ran into him this day. What is the coincidence? Watch God. The day that I went to go get my firearm, because in New York City, New York, you can't have firearms on you. I had it in the trash next to my D, next to the D. I don't want to talk crazy. I don't want to get, they knock me down on YouTube. I want them to penalize me. I had it next to the food, if you know what I mean. So I hid it in the trash can, so that way if the cops pull up, I don't got nothing on me. You found it near me, but it's in the trash can. So when I was walking to go get my firearm, because I had to have something to protect myself, my little toolie, I like a 2.2 or something. My mother just came. I ain't seen my mother in 5 years. She walked up and said, Matt, what you doing with your life? It was like I saw an angel. I swear, I still remember looking at her and like she looked like an angel. But my heart was racing because I'm in the middle of going to possibly take somebody out, if you know what I mean. And I'm willing to do it at the time. I'm young and dumb. And I'm looking at my mother like, what are you doing here? So I'm in a crossroads. And she said, you ain't been going to school. You ain't doing nothing. What are you doing? You're not in the foster here. I got to do this to you. I said, do what? I ain't seen you in 5 years. Rest in peace to my man, Pope. Pope, he's like, yo, what you doing? We talking to Matt for? What you doing here? That's your mom? Yo, he was mad with her because he know the story, because I used to talk about it a lot and cry from time to time. Like, yo, my mother left me here because she signed a document saying nobody else can't come get me but her. So that's why I was stuck there too, by the way. And if you ever wonder why the family ain't come get me. So I'm looking at her and I'm looking at the garbage can and I'm looking at her and I'm like, I gotta go do homie. And I'm looking at the garbage can. And I'm sorry, and I'm looking at her. She says, I'm sorry, I gotta do this. All of a sudden, that paddy wagon, the police pulled up. Woo, woo, woo. Put your hands behind your back. The detective that I was looking for me, he said, I've been looking for you for a while. You on the run, you ain't go to court, for the gun charge situation. And he said, I got you now. I looked at him, I said, I'm first time seeing you in 5 years, you get me arrested? Yeah, because I was 17. He said, yeah, I gotta do this, man. I can't let you die out here and lose your life. I don't want nothing to happen to you. I'm sorry. I had to do it. They've been looking for me, but they couldn't find me because I was on the streets shaking and grooving. So they used her to get to me. But watch this. They didn't use her. That was God's work. Now how I know that was God's work? She didn't even know until I was almost 40 years old when I had her. I got my life together. I went to juvie, by the way. I did all that. I did a year in juvie. I forgave my mother when I found out what happened to her. I invited her out to my house in Atlanta. And I looked at my mother and I remember kicking her. I said, Ma, you saved my life. She said, what you mean? You would think that she'd be like, man, I got my son arrested. I abused him, all that. I said, the day that you got me arrested and then police took me was the day I was about to commit an M charge, if I'm allowed to say that on here. She said, what? I said, yeah, I was on my way. When you were standing there, I was looking the other way because there was a firearm right there that I was going to take to handle the situation. And I ain't seen you in 5 years. She's like, what's crazy? It's like the way God aligned that. It was meant to be, because I would have still been in prison right now. I probably still would have been, or maybe just getting out because I was 17. Yeah, probably got like 20, depending on how you did it, man, whatever. So I would have been locked up with an F on my back. I made it out with no Fs. No bullet holes. Looking better than I did when I was younger. I don't look like what I've been through. You mean tell me that ain't God? That ain't God. This is why when a lot of dudes look at me like, yo, you always parading around. I can't never take him out of nothing, dog. Out of nothing. I owe it all to the Creator, man. I owe it to the Most High. Because there's no way this could have happened. And this is why I'm going to do the story time, because there's so many situations like this that I've been through. I'm like, God, oh my gosh, man. The blessings is enormous. It's amazing. And sometimes I struggle with like trying to be in control of not get that bag. I got to just let God work it, man. Let it all work out. It's on his time. It's on his time, man. It's on his time. He got you. My grandmother said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. Never. If you look at your life, I promise you, he's always there. They said he's never there. He's always there when you need him. Sometimes not when you want him, because he know you don't need. He already know everything about you. You might think he absent, but he's not absent. It's just the timing right now. He letting you go your pruning seasons. We go through pruning seasons. Those hard times is for the betterment of your future. Because when you get to the mountaintop, you stay at that mountaintop. That's the difference between a dude that take the shortcut and a dude that took the longer route. Look at all these dudes is suffering in their late ages. Who wants to go to jail at 50, 60 years old, bro? I'm going to go through all of this fun, 20, 30 years old, 10, 20 years of balling, and now you got a lifetime of hell. Bro, I'm good. I'll lean on the God. Y'all can have that. I'm straight, bro. I'll wait on them. And by the way, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm gone. It was real. I hope this message can really help somebody and understand it's all possible, no matter what you're going through. Peace.